So clipping masks, layer order, all those things are super important. Let's take a quick look at a practical reason why we need to pay close attention to layer order um, as it relates to retouching. So I'm going to go ahead and take this guy that we use for chromatic aberration, and I'm going to bring him into Photoshop. Now you could do this if you have another face picture that you need to do some retouching on. You can do that too. You could grab our demo lady from a couple days ago where she had like demo all over her face. But since I have this one nice and handy, I'm going to go ahead and use it. So what I would like to do, I'm going to retouch out that silly lamppost that's just sticking in, looking kind of stupid. Same thing with that street sign sticking in, looking kind of stupid. And then I would like to do some sort of adjustment. Maybe I'll bring the tones down a little bit, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and I think this would look cool in black and white. Bring down those magentas, make his shirt a little stronger, the bike. Make the bike a little lighter. Okay, so I've put a curves layer on there to bring down the midtones. I've put a black and white layer on there to make the whole thing black and white. Overall down midtones. And also black and white. Gosh. Overall black and white, magenta, magenta darker, yellow, lighter. And let's rename our background. Now we're ready to go. Okay, so I'd like to now go ahead and retouch out those silly things. Remember, I'm going to retouch on a new layer. Boop. So I'm going to make a new layer right on top of everything else. Okay, retouching out sign and lamppost. I guess it's not really the post, just the lamp, but whatever. I'm going to zoom way in on there. And I'm going to use the healing brush because the sky varies in tone. I want to be a little bit more careful with that. Choose a source point, hold down the option key, click on that, come over here. Boop, that's gone. Making sure I'm on current and below, right? Otherwise, I'm just retouching blankness to blankness, and that won't work. Come up here to top up here. Get that. Awesome. So I've now retouched out those two things. I think I'm good. But what if I decide now that really black and white was not the way to go? If I turn off that black and white layer, right, or if I turn off that midtones curve adjustment layer, I'm going to do the black and white because it's more obvious on the screen. Those areas that I had retouched, they stay black and white. Why is that? Well, my retouching layer is up here on top of everything else, and so when I'm doing current and below, right, those adjustment layers are also part of that below. So any adjustments that I've done will be there in my retouching. For that reason, right, we never, ever, ever, if we can help it, want to have our retouching layers above our adjustment layers. Occasionally there will be times where we can't do anything about it, but 9 times out of 100, 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, you will be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that retouching layer, make a new one. I'm going to put it below my adjustment layers. All right, let's make sure we name it something rational. Out lamp and sign. Okay, and now that I've got that, I'm going to come over here and turn my black and white, all those other layers on there, choose the source point, choose the source point, and now I've retouched those out. And now, importantly, because it is retouching out the stuff that is below it, when I turn off that black and white adjustment layer, or I turn off that curves adjustment, right, my retouching is happening below both of those. So both of those are affecting my underlying image and my retouching. My retouching was only pulling from that original unmodified image, right? Any adjustment layer stuff is happening to both, and my retouching is happening only to that image beneath it. So whenever you do any retouching, if you can, usually you can, make sure that you are below any adjustment layers, so that you do not have to totally redo all of your retouching if you need to make a small adjustment to your adjustment layer. And man, that has happened to me a bunch of times, and oh, super frustrating. So keep that in mind, enjoy that, and yeah, I will see you back on the other side with some grain.